Welcome to Chapter 11, New Product Development and Launches Using Social Media. So today we'll be talking about applying social media principles to considerations of product and service development, design, and launching of products and services. We're going to understand the concept of network externalities and how they influence demand for products and services. And we'll also learn how and when social media can be an effective tool for stimulating demand for new products before and during a launch phase. So, using social media principles when developing products. It's important that we build viability into products to make them inherently social. Now, what does inherently social mean? Well, in social media marketing terms, a product that is naturally talked about is inherently social. Some products are naturally inherently social, while others are not. Um, for example, toothpaste. It's used regularly, but not talked about much on social media. Some examples that are inherently social could be makeup products. Um, there's a lot of social media posts about different makeup tips and different makeup brands, and it's very inherently social. So sometimes when you talk about, building virality into products, you have to understand if that product is actually inherently social, because if it's not, it's going to be much harder to do. Consumers are more likely to talk about or share information about brands or products that are inherently social because they're consumed with others. When a product is inherently social, customers are intrinsically motivated to recruit and acquire new users and customers on behalf of the company. This this is true when we talk about influencers. And when we talk about influencing, especially when it comes to product influencers, that's what we're paying advertisers to do, is to share and recruit and acquire new customers and users on behalf of the company. The products that do extremely well with social influencers are those that are naturally inherently social. Let's talk a little bit about network externalities. Network externality, what this basically means is it exists in a good, for example, a product, service, or a brand, if the utility an individual consumer derives from that good depends on whether others consume it. So, if a consumer's enjoyment of a product has nothing to do with whether his or friends are using it, the product does not have network externality. So, basically, thinking about products that have a good network externality are the ones that people see other people using. So you can see how social media influencers again can start influencing others to try and buy products. These products have good network externality. Network externality can be both positive or negative, right? Positive if the utility, the enjoyment basically is increasing with the number of other people who are using the product, or negative if utility is decreasing with the number of others or friends who are using a product. An example of negative externality is when a consumer wants to stand apart from others in the way he or she dresses. If others start wearing the same clothing products, the original consumer may have a negative externality. So you'll see this a lot of times with brand new products. If they're cool and trendy and rare, they're perceived very positively. But if they're not, if people start using them, they can actually turn to be negative. So this coincides a lot of times with the product life cycle stage. And that is simply a graph that illustrates a new product from launch to retirement, death of that product. And it's on a bell curve. It gains momentum and gains popularity, and then it starts to be phased out. Making networking externalities work for you? Well, an entire product doesn't have to have a positive network externality. In fact, that's almost impossible to have a product that is always that has a entire positive network externality. But with a feature or even an add-on that creates a positive network effect, social media can be better leveraged to increase demand for products. And if we think about this, and a perfect example of this is the cell phone industry, and how they develop new features for filters, new features for phones. Um, these add-ons can create a positive network effect and better leverage an increase in demand for these new products when the product itself isn't that new. The product of a cell phone has been around for years. It's been around for 15, 20 years. But what they're doing is they're better leveraging social media and other platforms by having add-ons that are specifically built for that has a positive network effect, and you can see how this can happen. Some other ways to build network externality: having a social feature built into your product. For example, multiplayer modes on games. Maybe you have an app that makes it really easy to share on social media. If you have an e-commerce store, having social media buttons on your products images would be a great way to build network externality. Promotions are often a great way to build an externality and to make it popular to talk about on social media. A kickback or reward for referring a friend. I think we all see the TV commercials by the cable companies offering a refer to friend reward. And if we look on social media, there's a lot of times that brands will reach out to you and DM you to see if you want to be an influencer in exchange for a product or a referral credit. This promotion helps expand their network externality. So these are two ways that you could do that for your own business. Stimulating demand for launch is also an important topic. Companies with established customer bases can leverage that base to spread the word about new products or services. The bigger your base is, the easier it is to leverage that base to spread the word about that new product. What about brands nobody's ever heard of? It's very difficult to try to stimulate demand, and stimulating demand for a new product or service prior to launch in the early days immediately following a launch requires a phased approach. So before launch, you're going to want to make sure that you identify your target customers. Remember, in week one, we talked a little bit about identifying target and secondary customers. You're going to want to reach out to them and get feedback. You want to participate in their discussions, whether it be on Twitter or Instagram. Then you're going to take their feedback and you're going to launch. It's an externally based incentive. Treat new customers like seeds and help them grow your product and help them spread your product. Post launch, you're going to repeat those steps and you're going to do post launch analysis on how well you're doing and repeat those steps over again. So that's a little bit about how we can use social media for new product development and launches.